Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. I am your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome an incredible sportsperson from the US, Ruben Gonzalez. Ruben, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on your show. I am excited to speak to the people of India.
Thank you. Why would anybody in his right mind want to jump on a sled and hurl himself down an icy mountain at over 80 miles per hour? At the age of 21, our guest today, Ruben Gonzalez, took up the sport of luge and started training for the Olympics. 4 years and a few broken bones later, Ruben made his Olympic dream come true. But he didn't stop there. Ruben kept training, and at the age of 47, he was racing against 20-year-olds at the Vancouver Winter Olympics. Ruben is the first person to ever compete in 4 Winter Olympics in 4 different decades, and he's now preparing to go for the 5th Winter Olympics in Beijing. Ruben, I'm so privileged that you've agreed to speak to us. So let's speak about your journey. For a lot of our viewers and listeners, particularly those in India, they're not very familiar with Winter Olympics. So tell me, what is luge and how did you get interested in the sport?
Sure. Luge is a French word that means sled, right? I think you guys might say it's sledge, right? It's we lay down on our backs on a little bitty sled that's about, about 1.5 meters long. We're going down this chute of ice at 80, 90 miles an hour. And it's time to the 1/1000th of a second. Who has the best time wins. You take 4 runs in the Olympics, and we have the best schedule. There's the opening ceremonies. We race the next 2 days, and then we're done. The rest of the time, we're watching everybody else compete. But it's you add the 4 runs, so you have to be consistently good. We work very hard. Everything counts. Even your breathing counts because if you hold your breath, that will slow you down. And so we become very OCD about things because everything counts. Correct. But I've been doing it. I started when I was 21. I've been doing it on and off for over 30 years, and I've been, I got to go to 4 Olympics. I mean, I just can't.
So I was getting the pronunciation wrong. It's luge. You lie on your back with your feet first and then go down?
Yes. And so up at the start, we're sitting on the sled. There's 2 handles that are part of the track. We hold on and we pull ourselves forward in the same motion like a deadlift. A weightlifter does a deadlift straight up, but we're doing it horizontally. And then we have spikes on our fingertips. We paddle fast on the ice to build up speed. Then you lay down. And then from that point on, it's who drives the best lines and keeping aerodynamic position. 140 kilometers per hour sometimes.
Amazing. So, as a 5-time Olympian, what are the Olympics really about?
When I first saw the Olympics, I was 10 years old, and I was drawn to the Olympic athletes. And what drew me to them wasn't their athleticism, it was their spirit, their heart. Because I realized, wow, this is a group of people that have a dream. They're willing to train for years and years and years with no guarantees of success. And then finally, some of them make it. I thought you have to be so strong to put yourself through that. And they became my heroes, and I put them up on a pedestal. And I just wanted to be like them. For me, it was never about the medal. I just wanted to be one of those guys. I wanted to be in that club, right? And for the longest time, I didn't believe it was possible because I'm not a great athlete. I'm a slowpoke. Okay, I was always the last kid that they picked for sports in school. So I didn't believe, and I didn't do anything. And then when I was 21, I was inspired and I got going. But that's a preview to the answer. Now it comes the real answer. The Olympics are a place that showcases to the world the power of the human spirit. It just inspires people to let them realize, hey, if they can do that, maybe I can go after my dream too. And so it's about inspiring people to make their dreams come true.
Amazing. And, we were just talking about your hurtling down at 80, 90 miles per hour, which is maybe 150, 160 kilometers per hour. What does it feel like to go down at that speed?
It is not fun, okay? Everybody, I tell people I do the luge, and the first thing out of their mouth, oh, that looks like fun. That looks like a water slide.
Right.
No, it's a water slide on steroids, okay? You're going so fast.
Correct.
You start. Well, you're up at the start. You're waiting for your turn, right? Your hands get sweaty. Your mouth gets dry. The hair starts standing in the back of your neck. Because you know what can happen down there? Broken bones, concussions, dislocations, and worse. And coach gives you a little pat in the back, moves to the side, you start, and in no time, you're doing 50, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. As the speed increases, so does the fear. World's just doing this. You're focused on a spot about 30 feet in front of you, just flying down that track. And you get to the bottom and you want to quit. At least I did, because I started so late. I started at 21. Most luge athletes start when they're 8, 9, 10 years old. And they start from a lower start and they work them up slowly over 10 years. Me, they crammed it all into 2 years so that I could, have a chance to compete. And so it took me a long time to get over the fear. I finally over the fear though.
Amazing. Well, good luck for your fifth Olympics coming up in Beijing. But tell me, when I was reading about you, how did an 8x10 picture help you focus on your Olympic dream?
When I was 21, I was watching the Olympics on TV again. This is 11 years after I first saw them. And I saw this little guy that was a figure skater for the US that had won the world. He won the gold medal. And he gave me hope, right? I thought, if that little guy can win, I can at least play. I'll be in the next ones, right? Now I believe for the first time. And so I thought, I need to find a sport that fits me, right? That fits my strength. My strength was tenacity, perseverance. My nickname was Bulldog. So I thought, I need to find a sport with a lot of broken bones, maybe be a lot of quitters, and I won't quit. And I will rise to the top through the attrition rate, right? So I tell people, you have to know thyself, right? Like Socrates said, yeah, and then run with your strengths, right? Go with your strength. And so I picked the luge for that reason, because I thought that looks like a tough one. I didn't even know where the track was. I lived in Houston, Texas. It's hot, humid, and flat over there. Okay. I mean, and so I didn't know where the track was. So I wrote a letter to Sports Illustrated. That's our biggest sports magazine. And I asked them, where do you go learn how to luge? And they wrote back, they said Lake Placid, New York. That's where they had the Olympics before. And they sent me this picture of a guy on a luge. And as soon as I got the picture, it went on the wall. I'm looking at it right now. It's over on my wall over there, and in my office. In fact, let me show you. I'm going to show you. Okay, let's see. See over there, right under the Olympic rings. It's way back there. Okay. Yeah, so I can see it, right? And so as soon as I got the picture, it went right in front of my bed, in my bedroom. First person I saw in the morning was the luge man. He reminded me, hey, I'm going for the Olympics. I have to eat right, exercise, read good books, right? Because mental toughness is important. Hang around winners. That's who you associate with, right? You become like the people you associate with. At night, before I shut off the lights, the last person I saw was the luge man. And what do you think I dreamt about at night? Luge. He kept me going. That was my goal setting system. And I tell people, do that, because teenagers do it, right? Teenagers have their walls filled with their dreams. And then when they grow up, they start pulling them out. And every time you pull one out from the wall, it rips a little hole in your heart. I say, put them back up. That way it'll keep you focused. Otherwise you forget.
Well said. And, Olympics obviously needs an incredible amount of preparation and a tremendous amount of mental strength. How do you prepare yourself mentally, before you start a run?
Up at the start, and this is the same, a luge run is a performance, okay? A performance is something that gets you closer to your goal, okay? A sales call is a performance, right? A follow-up call is a performance. What we're doing now, right? Whether I'm up on stage or speaking for you like this electronically, right? It's a performance, right? And so how do you improve a performance? It could be a cricket shot, right? Or a tennis shot, like VJ Armitage tennis shot, right? And so you have to trust your training. That's the first thing. You trust your training. You have to get to the point of you trained hard enough that you know you have what it takes. And I sometimes say to myself, I just did a TED talk, right, a couple of weeks ago. And I was getting a little nervous because it was my first one and they're filming it. And even though I've been speaking professionally for 20 years, I wasn't nervous that I wasn't going to be good. I was nervous that I would forget my lines because they had to be memorized. And that's against the way I speak. I speak from the heart. I don't speak from a memorization. And so, and 20 minutes before, I just finally said, hey, trust. And I just started telling myself the things I tell myself up at the start. Trust. I trust my training. I did it. Okay. I'm just going to let go. I'm just going to let my subconscious take over. And that's what you do. And that flips the switch from conscious to subconscious. And now you have a better chance of getting into the zone. Because if you're analyzing while you're trying to perform, you're not going to be good. Make sense? Absolutely. Then at the bottom of the track, first thing we do, we pick up the walkie-talkie. We talk to coach because there's coaches up and down the track. And now coach tells me what I did wrong, what I did right. Ruben, you must point he's Austrian. He has this thick accent. Ruben, you must point your toes more. Put your head further back. Ruben, you were so late on curve 6. You must steer harder on curve 6. And Ruben, relax. Be one with the sled. Have fun.
Amazing.
So anyway,
just listening to you is so mesmerizing for me. Amazing.
Amazing. When I walk up the stage, they just introduced me. I'm walking up the stage. There might be 10,000 people in the audience. You know what I say to myself? My flip there, my switch, we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun, right? Because if you have fun, you're not tight. If you're having fun, you're relaxed, right? If they have fun, that's, or not, that's their problem, but I'm going to have fun. Okay. Nice. And so that allows you to be your best you. Yeah. And so, and then afterwards, there's going to be 3 options. Okay. The performance was great. It was good, or it needs work. Okay. And so that's why you need coach, right? If it needs work, they can tell you, okay, this is what you need to do better for next time. And it's constant improvement.
Absolutely. So moving on, how do you embrace change in the luge and in your business?
Luge is a little bit like Formula One racing, right? It's a race. It's a car race, basically, right? And we just have a very lousy car. But it's who has the best lines and who has best aerodynamics and who can do it consistently. It's not a very athletic sport like throwing the javelin, right? Like you're a champion from Sharma. Wow, I love that story. But it's not athletic like that. It's athletic at the beginning, but most of the times, who's got the mental toughness, right? So what was your question again? Oh, change. Yes. So changing conditions. In car racing, if it starts raining, you have to put on rain tires, right? Well, if the weather changes, if it gets colder or warmer, we have to do things to our steels to adjust. Whenever there is change, whoever adjusts first wins, okay? And so change is an opportunity to beat your competition if you're able to adjust faster, okay? For me, the easiest way to see it is watching a tennis match, okay? Nadal is playing Djokovic, for example. Nadal wins the first set. Djokovic makes an adjustment, right? And now Djokovic wins the second set. Nadal, makes an adjustment. And it always goes back and forth. It's hardly ever straight sets when you're up at the top, right? And so whoever adjusts first wins. And so you have to start seeing change as an opportunity to pass your competition. Rather than feel sorry for it, be glad, give thanks, right? And then quickly when COVID hit, I remember it was mid-March last year. Oh boy, the phone started ringing. That phone call we just got before we got started, that was a bureau that wants to book me to speak next month, right? Well, the phone started ringing. They were canceling all their meetings, right? Because everything was shut down. And I told my wife, don't buy anything. I have to figure this out. And so I called a couple of my buddies that are speakers and I told them, we have to figure out virtual quickly, okay? Let's make every mistake we can as quickly as we can, and let's touch base with each other. So we figure out that whoever makes mistakes faster figures out the 20% of the stuff that does work. And we figured it out after a couple of weeks, got the lighting right, the background, everything. And so be willing to make mistakes. Right.
Fantastic.
Be willing to. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, Ruben, moving on. Again, when I was reading about you, the German Luge Team taught you about commitment. Tell me about that story.
the Germans dominate the sport. Okay. They're like the Indians in cricket. Okay. Just imagine that. They have won 80% of the medals in the last 50 years. Right.
Wow.
They have 4 tracks in a country the size of Texas. When I got started in the luge, there was 1 track in North America, Lake Placid. That was it. And so they decided, at some point they decided we're going to invest into this sport long term so that we can produce champions. We're going to win. Success is a decision. Okay. Sooner or later, you decide you're willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. Right. And you start doing what the competition is not willing to do. And so they made that decision. And I competed in the Calgary Games, was my first one, 1988, Calgary, Canada. The Germans wouldn't give me the time of day. I mean, they wouldn't even say hello to me. I might see a few of them, they're working on a sled, and I say, "Hey, Hans, how you doing?" Nothing. It's like I was invisible, right? And that made me feel like an ant, like I didn't belong, right? And then 2 years after my first Olympics, it was like a memo went out, okay? All of a sudden, all the Germans got nice the same day, right? One of them sees me, "Hey, Gonzalez, Speedy Gonzalez, hey, how are you?"
Okay.
And I got mad. I said, "What's up with you guys? I've been nice to you for years, and now I'm Speedy Gonzalez." And he said, "Come, let's talk to you." And we sat down at this big table, the coaches, the whole team. And they said, "We are the best in the world. Some of us started when we were 5 years old. Okay. We were the best in our town, the best in our region. Finally, we made the national team. Then we made the Olympic team. Only 3 get to do it. But there's so many great losers in our country. We'll be lucky to make 2 Olympics.
Right.
And we're sick and tired of seeing people of other countries. They do 1 Olympics, they disappear. You know what we call them?" I said, "No, what? Olympic tourists, always with their camera." But you are trying to make Albertville. It's 2 years after your first Olympics. You're trying to make the second one, right? So whether you make it or not doesn't matter to me. It matters to us. What matters to us is you are showing respect to the sport. So now you have earned our respect. That's called commitment, right? So it's about commitment, about being willing to,
you have such amazing stories, Ruben.
It's a long time that I've been doing this.
I have time for 2 or 3 more questions for you, and I want to talk about your book as well. You also, you mentioned that a boxer taught you positive self-talk.
I love the questions you're asking. You did some research.
Tell me about what the boxer taught you.
This is before my first Olympics. Okay. I'm just learning how to luge. I'm in a little bitty gym in Houston, and in walks Evander Holyfield. Okay, he had just won the world championship and boxing championship, and he was in all the covers. He was a famous guy. And Lou Duva, who was his manager, came to Houston with his whole team. So it was about 10 of them. Evander walks into our gym, and all of us, including me, started whispering real loud, "That's Evander Holyfield. What's he doing here?" Nobody had the guts to go say hello. But the littlest one, littlest boxer, he didn't look so intimidating, right? So I thought, I can talk to that one. So the little guy gets on a stationary bike and he's warming up. I went right next to him and I started warming up. I knew he was a boxer, but I had to start a conversation. I asked him, "What do you do? What's your sport?" He says, "I box. What do you do?" I said, "I'm a loser." And he went crazy. He goes, "A loser? Don't you call yourself a loser? You're a winner. You're a winner." Just like that. Okay. Everybody got off their machines and wanted to see who the loser was, right? I was so embarrassed, I almost walked out and joined a different club, right? And I asked him.
What a great story.
Well, it turns out this guy was world champion too, but in the small weight, right? If I'd have known, if I'd known he was the champ, I wouldn't have talked to him either. I would have been intimidated, right? But when you don't, sometimes not knowing is a good thing. But he told me, be careful what you say to yourself, because that's how you program your brain, right? What you say determines what you do. What you think. What you think determines what you do. What you do determines your results, right? And what you do consistently determines your whole future. But it all starts with a self-talk, right? Always talk about what you want. Successful people think about and talk about what they want. Unsuccessful people think about and talk about what they don't want, right? And it's whatever you talk about and think about, that's where you're going. So just focus on what you want.
Terrific. So my next question to you, Ruben, is what I would call a little philosophical. How does having a higher purpose help us to take action?
when I was in, well, right now, let me tell you what I'm trying to do right now. I am trying to get a visa to get into China so that I can start training. We do an official training first couple of weeks in November, and then World Cup races all over Europe, 7 races, and the last race is the first week of January. Okay. After those races, they tally up all the points. Top 35 men get to go to the Beijing Olympics. Number 36 watches it on TV. Okay. This is a lot of money. Okay. I had to raise a ton of money because I don't have sponsors. Okay. I had to raise a ton of money to make it. Now I'm still a visa away from even being able to go play, to even go try to do this. And I can be doing other things. I'm 59. Okay. All my friends have fancy cars and I save everything so I can go. But my higher purpose is to, if I get to be one of those 35 men, I will be the oldest Winter Olympic athlete in history. Okay. Wow. The oldest right now is a Swedish curler from the 1924 Olympics. I mean, this record is almost 100 years old. Wow. And so my higher purpose is not, look, Ruben is 5-time Olympian. No, the higher purpose is let's inspire people of all ages that it doesn't matter how old you are, how young, how old you are, you can still pursue your dream. You dedicate your life to your dream.
Fascinating.
That's what's given me the strength to put up with all these bureaucrats that don't want to give me a visa. Does that make sense?
Fascinating.
Yeah. I met a lady at the Salt Lake City Olympics. She was a bobsledder from Hungary. A year and a half before the Olympics, she gets cancer, breast cancer, has to get double mastectomy. She's in the hospital, she's done. And her teammate showed her this book about this guy who had overcome cancer and won the Tour de France. And she got inspired, right? And she said, I won't do it for me. I will do it for cancer survivors to teach them that cancer will knock you down, but it doesn't have to knock you out, right? And so she had a higher purpose that inspired her to do superhuman things, right? So I tell people, what's your why? What is your why? Why do you want to do it? And that first answer, that's not the real answer. And then you keep deeper about the fifth answer. Now you're getting close, right?
Well said. So Ruben, I've got time for only one more question. And I'm going to ask you about your book, The Courage to Succeed. What are the 2 types of courage you need to develop to succeed in life?
You have to have 2 types of courage. The courage to get started, right? And it's scary to get started, okay? But you have to have the courage to get started. And everything's hard at the beginning, right? So you have to, because you have no skills. So once you get started, you have to have the courage to not quit, the courage to endure, the courage to stay in the game long enough to learn those skills, and then you use the skills to reach the goal, right? Now, the courage to get started comes from believing it's possible. If you believe it's possible, hey, I'll give it a try, right? The courage to not quit, that comes from your desire. Right. If you want something badly enough, nothing will make you quit. Well, if you think about it, when I was a kid, I had the desire. I wanted to be an Olympian, but I didn't believe it was possible, so I didn't do anything. When I was 21, I see the skater. He inspires me. Now I believe. Now I'm ready to take action, and the rest is history. Right?
Oh, wonderful. Oh, wonderful.
And let me show you one more thing, okay?
Yeah.
I tell people, because if you tell someone, believe in yourself, right? A little kid or a friend or something, that's worthless, okay? It doesn't. It sounds good. It's nice, but it doesn't help, because you didn't show them how to believe in yourself, okay? The way to increase your self-belief is 2 ways. The books you read, the people you associate with. You associate with winners, people that are already doing what you want to do. You pick up their habits, and then you become, every day, you grow from the inside out to the person that can make the dream come true, right? But that takes time. Look, I wanted to show you something. This is just a little bit of the books that I have, okay? We have baskets with books all over the house. I mean, a book has to be really good to earn a spot here, because there's not much room left, right? But I'm constantly refining and working and trying to be the best that I can be. And that's how you hang around winners, you read the good books, you give time to do its job, and poof, you start believing in yourself, you start taking bigger risks, and life gets really exciting.
Phenomenal. Ruben, we have to end now. And I mean, I could keep talking to you. You're such an amazing speaker. Thank you so much. You've introduced me to the world of luge. I had no idea it is such a challenging sport. I wish you, and I will pray for you, that you get to your 5th Olympics in Beijing. Do send me a message, and we'll tell everybody who's watching this show to root for you when you are there as one of the 35, hurtling down at these crazy speeds. But good luck to you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for those prayers. I need all the prayer I can get.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.